What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Nintendo Land, and today we are back with part 4 of comparing the original Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door to that of the remake. And we have a lot of little facts for you guys today, a whopping total of 38. And we're going to start the video with some comments that you guys left on the last video, and then finding some cool differences between the two games from Chapter 2 now. So this is covering nothing but the beginning of Chapter 2 and some more of Chapter 1, so don't worry about any crazy spoilers if you guys are still playing through the game. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and stop what you're doing, leave a like and subscribe. Look at how close we are to 300,000 subscribers. You guys absolutely killed it yesterday, getting us over 300 unique subscribers, so thank you so much. And let's see how many we can get from this one video. We are super duper close. Let's see how many we can get today. Also, real quick guys, before we jump into this video, at the end of this summer between September 13th and the 14th, my good friend over there at Mike Odyssey is now turning into Indie Mania for this year, where it's a giant event for indie devs and their games, where you can actually register if you're an indie dev yourself, or just kick back and watch the cool indie games that are shown off during this event. Check out all the information down below in the description, and thank you guys so much. Now, going back and covering some of your findings, Daniel states that everyone in Petalburg calls Hooktail a he in the original, where in the remake everyone already knows that Hooktail is a she before you even go up and fight her. In the original, when Hooktail starts offering you things to spare her life towards the end after she's about to be defeated, she used to offer you 1,000 coins, but now she's offering you 10,000 coins. Why such a change? I really don't know. In the original game, if you attack an audience member, or if Hooktail eats them, you'll hear the audience scream as they're being thrown out of the theater or chomped on, where now they don't really scream or really make a sound, which is kind of weird. In the original, the game makes you stand on top of the pipe like it's a flat surface, and you have to press down to go into the pipe. In the remake, you actually go inside the pipe a little bit, like there's a dent inside, and you have to press A to enter it now. In the original game, exclamation marks would pop up above certain things that you can interact with, like doors of buildings, and speech bubbles will pop above the heads of NPCs that you can talk to amongst the world. Now everything has been boiled down to a simple A button to talk or to open. In the original game, Mario used to raise his hand above his head whenever he talked to somebody, and this was in every version except for the European version, and you could probably understand why this was removed from the game, but obviously in the remake this has been completely taken out in all different versions. Alright, now let's move on to the end of Chapter 1, where we actually get to see Peach and Bowser's side of the story. Well, in the original game, when transitioning to the Peach scene, it would show Mario pictures flop in, where in the remake it actually shows Peach's pictures first. It's kind of like pushing everything back this time around. The original, when you're in Sir Grodus' room, is hard to tell where the projector is actually coming from. It's just a floating screen, where in the remake it's actually coming from the back of Grodus' chair. This is a very small one I noticed as well. When the Shadow Sirens leave in the original, it'll actually show the POV from Tech as she's watching everything unfold, and she's flickering the camera through the various different rooms and hallways in the facility, where in the remake, this is just completely stripped out. I would guess this is because it spoils kind of where the facility is in the game by showing the outside for a second, which is kind of annoying, and maybe that's why Nintendo wanted to remove it. Here's a difference that's gonna blow your mind. Yes, the toilet seat in Peach's bathroom is now down, where in the original it was sticking up, so I guess the X-Nauts now have some respect for Peach. In the original, the mirror has no reflection whatsoever by the sink, it's just a blue square, where in the remake, you can actually see Peach walking towards the mirror, and it kind of going from blurry to more clear, which is pretty cool, honestly. Another super minor change is you used to not be able to see Peach's reflection on the back metal walls of the X-Naut hallway, where now you can. And to be honest, there's a lot of rooms in this game now where you can see reflections. It's just the way the game's made, where it's supposed to look like shiny cardboard or something, so yeah, this is a recurring thing throughout the entirety of the game. In the original, the elevator glass is completely whited out, and you really can't see on the inside, where in the remake, it's clear glass and you can see the inside of the elevator. And I promise this is the last one for the the hallway, but the light above the door to talk to Tech is actually just a white light, where in the remake it's actually turned into a red/green bar light that's actually in all the X-Naut doors that you'll find throughout this game. In the original, the lens for Tech's light is actually blue, making it look more peaceful and loving, where in the remake it's red, making it look like an evil sentient computer. And in leaving the Princess Peach scene, once again it's different now, where it used to show the Peach panels zooming into Bowser's castle. Now it shows the Bowser panels first, zooming into Bowser's castle. In the original, the chandelier candles are not lit in Bowser's castle, and there's no torches by his door, where in the remake they're lit blue, and there are 2 torches by his door now. Just how Mario can now interact with enemies in the remake, Bowser can as well. In the original, no matter how much fire you would breathe, it would do nothing to the NPCs, where now you can heckle them. Finally, with the last couple of panels, you can see Bowser's panels flip in, where in the remake it goes back to the Mario panels, which just makes so much more sense now with the remake. After the chapter is completed, when you're back in Petalburg, the original just continued to play the original Petalburg theme, where there's now a new victory theme, it seems, that plays for the entire area. You take the crystal star to the pedestal in the Rogueport sewer. In the original, it would only show the partner that you have out watching you place the crystal star, where in the remake, it has all your partners out watching Mario, which feels more cinematic, as I will even show a scene later in the game where all your partners are kind of gathered together. Alright, let's move on to the beginning of Chapter 2. When the Puny actually goes through the wall and opens up a path for you to enter Boggly Woods, you'll see the panels flip and just disappear, where in the remake, they'll flip and fall down and you can still slightly see them laying on the ground. In the original game, once you're in Boggly Woods, you can actually hit the trees and they will just sound like trees. But in the remake, the leaves almost have a glass chime to them when you smack the trees, more fitting for the location. In the original, you'll only be able to get flowers to fly up in the flower spots by jumping up and down in them, where in the remake, you can run or even use your hammer to make flowers appear. In the original, if you hit the floor with your hammer, there really won't be any difference in sound, where in the remake, it sounds a lot different based on this Boggly Wood marble flooring. Another incredibly small detail, but when you get to the triangular flower patterns, you'll notice the first one is actually flipped in the remake. Yeah, it's incredibly small, but it's a difference. The Great Boggly Tree is more hand-drawn, just the same way Hooktail's castle was in the background, where in the remake, it's just made out of paper, but in the background. In the original, when you ran away from a fight, you would actually drop coins on the ground afterwards, which made it kind of a hassle to pick everything up after you already run away from an enemy. But in the remake, you don't drop any coins, so you can just run away for free. In the original, the traveling merchant does not appear beside a tree in Boggly Woods at all. In fact, I don't think he appears anywhere outside of Rogueport from the original game. I could be a little wrong about this, but in the remake, he's definitely here right beside this tree. In the original, you'll come across a section with tons of trees and a secret path, but you'll notice that these trees are completely darkened out, like a complete blackout shadow of black, where you can't even really tell they're trees at some times, where in the remake, they definitely are a lighter tone, and you can see the details in the trees as well. I'm also going to have to bump this video up to 39 facts, because in the OG, there were no petals falling from the tree. In the remake, tons of petals will droop down from the trees above Mario. There's only one main difference with Madame Flurry's house, where in the original, the 2 flower pots are by her stairs, and in the remake, they're actually by the front door. We all remember the scene of Madame Flurry's entrance, where she has all these roses around the screen and then they just disappear, where in the remake it's slightly different. Camera actually starts down below and raises up this time around. You can then see the flower petals bloom in and she actually blows them away with her kiss that she blows at Mario. Yeah, they actually doubled down on this scene, which I would never believed in this day and age. Also, did you know there's so much going on in this scene? This is actually one of the few pre-rendered cutscenes in the entire game. Yeah, that little scene is all pre-rendered. Let's head on down inside the Great Boggly Tree, where the puny orb holder is actually different. It used to just be a box where you put the puny orb inside, and now it's actually shaped like the puny orb, which just makes more sense. You get into the room of the giant jail cells for the punies, you'll notice the locks are yellow and gray, where in the remake they're actually color-coded based on the cell, where the red one is red and gray and the blue one is blue and gray. In both versions you'll still float up into a bubble if you sit there and wait too long, but in the remake you'll actually be able to make small bubbles if you slam your hammer on the ground. This is not the case for the original. In the original, some sections don't even have panels appear when you place the puny orb. It's just a small glowy square, where in the remake there's always a panel, including a small marked area for you to stand on, which is where you need to stand to blow the punies, which is pretty cool. It's like a little indicator of how to make it work smoothly. If the punies get angry or even get into a fight, they don't really have any type of glowing expression with their antenna, where in the remake they actually glow red now, which is a neat difference. And last but not least, when the punies invade the Jabby hive and blow it up, all the pieces just fly off of the screen, including the siren, where in the remake, pieces are still laying amongst the floor, and you can even see pieces of the siren still laying there as well. And that was 39 new differences between Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door and the remake on Nintendo Switch. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, if you guys find some more information yourselves, comment them down below and you could appear in the next video, and definitely let me know if you want this series to continue by continuing to leave a like, subscribing, and sharing this video. I'm having so much fun making this series, and I can't wait to continue through the rest of the game. Thank you for tuning in today, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.